This Anchor Bay School Board meeting of April 29th to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody could please stand up that's here. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with open forum. We got one here, Miss Cheryl Stinkus.
You want to come up there or just from here? I don't know where.
Yeah, you could come up here if you could, because then you got the computer. Yeah, because then you'll be on video.
Lovely.
What's that?
I'm not going to roll policy because they're there.
Oh, yeah. I always forget that. I forget it in. Okay, so sorry, Ms. Cheryl. We're gonna first do roll call. Lisa, Ms. Berkmeyer.
Ms. Akavetti Hendershot. Oh, hang on, we're unmuting people. Oh, don't hear me.
Here.
You're muted. She said yeah.
I'm not unmuted though.
Here.
Okay. For roll call, Ms. Akavetti Hendershot,
Here.
Mr. Middlestat,
Excused.
Ms. DeWitt,
Marie.
Ms. DeWitt.
I'm here, but I lost visual.
Okay.
Oh, we heard you. Mr. Drew,
Here.
Berkmeyer here, Mr. Green,
Here.
and Mr. Moses.
Is John have people muted or is it you?
It's Tim's got control.
Okay.
Did we get Mr. Moses?
Nope.
Here.
There he is.
All right. A little bit slower, but we'll get better. All right. We'll wait till we get the video to you.
All right.
Yep. All right.
I just wanted to comment that, once again, I just wanted to thank all the
We're going to go into general business. Or did you have anything, Jamie? No? She's on mute. I didn't know if she had.
So am I.
Oh. Jamie? Did you want, I didn't know if you were, what's that?
I couldn't hear anything that Cheryl said because she was muted. Her speaker was muted.
Did we got it on, we got it. So for the video, we got it recorded.
Oh.
Thanks.
I just didn't, okay.
Thank you. All right, into general business. I know we have oh wait, that's next. Bills payable. You can do it right there.
All right, President
Drew, in your board packet, you have the bills payable for February and March of 2020. The amount of the bills paid in February, $1,597,763, and the amount of bills paid in March was $1,655,640. Are there any questions that I can answer for you about the bills payable?
Any questions from the board?
No.
Seeing none. Need a motion to pay the bills?
No.
All right. Resolution authorizing the refinancing of debt.
Yeah, so the resolution before the board this evening is to refinance roughly $92 million worth of district debt. We've done many refundings in the past here. The idea is very similar to when you refinance your home. You try and develop or get a lower interest rate so that you can reduce your interest expense. And that's what we're proposing to do. So this resolution would last for a period of 6 months, and it will allow the superintendent or his designee to work with the financial consultant to refund $92 million worth of current debt. And at the current interest rates, we expect that will save the district taxpayers, all the taxpayers in our district, roughly $5.5 million. That exact number will ultimately depend on the interest rate and what we're able to get, but that's in the neighborhood of $5.5 million savings for our taxpayers. Are there any questions that I can answer for you about the resolution authorizing the refinance of debt?
Is there any questions from the board? All right, seeing none. Let me get to that resolution. I'm not seeing it. You know what page that's on? There it is. Nope, that's the MSAD. There it is. I found it.
You found it, okay.
All right, and just for the record, the finance committee, did you want to give an update on that?
No, go ahead, your mic's already open.
All right. The finance committee met, had a conference call meeting last week and went over this in great detail. And the recommendation from the finance committee was to give this authorization for the time period of 6 months to allow the superintendent, obviously, or designate to refinance and save the district some money. So is there a motion to approve the refinancing resolution authorization as presented? You want to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that.
All right, motion by Mr. Green. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Burkmeyer. Vote by roll. It'll take us a minute with the vote because Tim's got to unmute the participants. Go ahead, Lisa.
I'm still muted.
Oh, Lisa's muted.
Okay, Ms. Akavetti Hendershot,
Yes.
Ms. DeWitt? Yes. Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Burkmeyer, yes. Mr. Green?
Yes.
And Mr. Moses?
He's still on mute. Moses.
Okay, why don't you just leave the board members unmuted? You don't need to mute them.
Mike?
Yes.
They can control the mute
All right.
on their own computer.
Yeah, to the board members, instead of having to unmute you and mute you, do it yourself so we could not get the kickback, but just, you'll know when we're asking for your, for a vote or whatever. So now we'll go to the severance, the motion passes. Severance plan update.
Do you want to go to item C there first?
Oh, the MSD.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Okay. So the Michigan School Code requires that intermediate school districts must prepare an annual general fund budget to be supported by the local board of education. So the MISD has presented the budget that they intend to pass to the board, and it is now before the board to approve the passage of that budget.
All right, is there any discussion from the board members on the resolution? All right, I will, it's not that long, I'll read it. Resolution for review and approval of the proposed Macomb Intermediate School District budget. Whereas section 624 of the revised school code requires that not later than June 1st of each year, the board of each constituent district shall adopt a board resolution expressing its support for or disapproval of the proposed intermediate school district budget. Whereas Anchor Bay District is a constituent district of the Macomb Intermediate School District. Whereas the Board of Education of Anchor Bay District, during a public meeting, has reviewed the proposed MASD budget for the next fiscal year. Now therefore be resolved as follows: the Board of Education of Anchor Bay School District expresses its approval of and support for the MASD's general fund operating budget for the next fiscal year. The Board of Education of Anchor Bay District directs its secretary to forward this resolution to the secretary of the MASD Board of Education. We get a motion to adopt this resolution. Marie, was that you, Mr. Witt?
Yes.
Motion by Mr. Witt, is there a second?
I'll support.
Supported by Ms. Hendershot. Probably vote by roll since we're all in different areas.
Ms. Akavetti Hendershot,
Yes.
Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Burkmeyer, yes. Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Moses.
Unmute yourself, Mike.
Did you vote yes? Mike?
Mike was a yes. Motion passes, or resolution passes, is adopted. Now, we'll move on to the resolution authorizing the, no, that's not day.
The severance.
The severance payment.
So no action on this item for the board tonight, but I did want to update you on the severance plan. The period for electing the last day is tomorrow, so we should have our final numbers tomorrow on that election. After that, they have 7 days that they could rescind. But as we stand right now, we've got roughly 8 individuals who have turned in their paperwork. We've got another 3 or 4 individuals who are considering. At a maximum, you're talking about 12 people that we think could elect to participate. As you might remember, we had initially talked about 25 as being the number that we needed to make this financially viable for the district. So I think that, you know, in large part, COVID-19 has had a lot to do with the numbers here. But I think the silver lining out of this truly is that, you know, out of the 250 some folks that were eligible, only 8 elected, and probably 3 or 4 of those folks were going to retire anyway. So I really think that speaks a little bit to what a good working environment we do have here at Anchor Bay and what dedicated employees we have at Anchor Bay. So if there's a silver lining, I think that's it. Are there any questions I can answer for the board in that regard?
So you're going to
Any
notify
questions from the board on this?
Yes. He's going to notify.
Ms. DeWitt?
Yes. He'll notify us if the offer is just withdrawn for lack of the numbers we need to make it feasible.
Can you, just, the sound was a little messed up, can you ask that again?
So when will Todd notify us that the offer then is rescinded due to lack of support?
Good question. So after May 7th, after the rescission period, we will bring back the final numbers to the board so that you can make your decision whether you want to move forward or not. I think based on the numbers, the recommendation will be to not move forward on it.
Okay, thank you.
But that's when we would make that decision.
Okay, so we got a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
obviously as it stands now, we would be not going forward.
Correct.
Pat, anything? All right. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to union communications. I think we have Ms. Jamie Petron, president of the ABEA. Are you muted, or can you mute yourself, unmute yourself? Oh, yeah, there we go.
So I just had a few things that I wanted to share, and obviously for our teaching staff, this has been a very challenging time. I might get a little verklempt because it's been very emotional, but I'm really extremely proud of the hard work that our teaching staff has put in. Within a week's time, our teachers stepped up, learned a brand new platform that many had no, or very little exposure to. I personally sat behind my computer a few times with tears in my eyes because I had no idea what I was doing. But they ended up sorting it out and doing the best they can. So I think that was a challenge that they all stepped up to. And that being said, I would like to give a really big thank you to Anita and Ashlyn. Ashlyn has been just, both ladies have been amazing, but I know that the teachers have had a lot of trainings with Ashlyn, and it's been really great. So we really, really appreciate all of the hard work there from the team. I appreciate the board settling our top wage reopener. I know it was a very weird time that this happened and that we were able to reach an agreement. But I think that when your priorities have to shift, it was something that we got done. So I would like to thank everyone for their hard work on that. I would like to thank the administration for the improved communication with the ABEA during these times. I appreciate that effort. I hope that we can continue to bring some positivity and progress to our labor relationship as we navigate throughout these new times. And obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the future and going into the fall. Lastly, the one thing I just, for my own self, just a little bit of a reflection. I don't know if it's appropriate or not to say this, but somebody said at one point that, we're doing all this remote learning, but it's really more of like a crisis management right now. And I think that, I really felt that for myself. And I think so many of our teachers feel this right now. You're trying the best you can with your own family and your own situation and trying to manage, your students and worrying about your students, creating lessons, trying to make things so that they, are meaningful to kids, to try to engage kids, but most of all, making sure their mental health and the mental health of the staff is just top priority. So it's been a challenge for all of us, and I'm sure everyone in this room can feel that, but I just want to say that I'm just so proud to be an ABEA member, and I'm so proud of our teachers. And I think that everyone has been doing such a great job. And I think ultimately that human connection with kids is what got us all into this field to begin with. So hopefully that could be something that just keeps moving forward for all of us. So thank you for letting me be a part of the Zoom meeting, board meeting. Otherwise I would have been there. And just thank you for everyone for everything that you've done. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Did we have any other, I know we sent it out to all the presidents. All right. We'll go into planning for our future. Terry and Joe, at the last meeting, we had asked for a kind of an update on what's going on with the COVID-19 and how you guys are addressing that. I know you guys are prepared to give a little update, so it's a little bit of a change on the agenda.
All right, just wanted to give a quick update about the continuity of learning plan. We gathered information from all of the important groups. We had a conference call with ABEA leadership. We met with the curriculum council of the staff and both administration and teachers. We took some ideas from our colleagues. We meet weekly within the county and discuss kind of what's going on, keeping in touch, even with Oakland County. Met with the board subcommittee and again with the administrators and you know, in developing that plan, we're trying to keep our teams, keep the guiding principles being the child, the student, their mental health, nutritional needs, safety needs, all at the forefront. And that is definitely echoed throughout the county and in our plan. Terry's going to give you a general summary, just real quick, about some of the activities at the elementary.
Oh, sorry about that. Just talking about the plan for elementary and then secondary, and this involves what the teachers will be doing and what the students will be doing. First of all, the weekly connection will be, teachers will, at the elementary level, have a social emotional, a time where they'll have a social emotional time for the week that they're going to meet with students just to check in, and that could be, that's going to be a Zoom meeting for the most part, or it could be a Schoology conference meeting. The instructional time for students is expected between 60 and 90 minutes. The assignments are given to students on Monday morning through Schoology, but the 60 to 90 minutes is the instructional time that is expected for each day. And then also the teachers will offer an academic support time, 1 hour during the week that they will schedule, and they have scheduled already that time, and the principals have all those schedules already put in place on a spreadsheet per building. And then lastly, the planning and collaboration time that we have with staff is they could be through a staff meeting, it could be a PLC meeting, or it could be a grade level meeting that teachers are asked to do one time per week. So that's it for elementary. Sorry, I'll move it.
All right, at the secondary level, it's similar, but a bit different, where each Monday, the teachers are meeting in a PLC group with their colleagues and an administrator that works with that group. In that group, they're developing the lessons, making sure that they are, like Jamie was saying, challenging but not overwhelming, keeping the kids' well-being in mind. And we're working for about 120 to 180 minutes per class per week, which is certainly the biggest challenge, was taking those 12 weeks that we had left and condensing it into 8 some essential standards, so to speak. And those assignments are put out on Mondays. And throughout the week, we built a schedule to try to reduce any overlap. Have the teachers available for the students throughout the week. And in working with that, they also are using the discussion thread within Schoology to go back and forth. And I know that, for example, at North, just looking at some of the data, there was 7,000 discussion threads going back and forth just at North alone. So that's been really good. Just in general, some of the student engagement at the secondary level with the students who have logged on or engaged in their remote learning. We average 95% of secondary students have engaged in the remote learning after a week and a half.
Yeah, and at the elementary level, it's 92% of the students have engaged in remote learning. So we're really excited that we have so many people engaged and following the plan and the platform that we're using. So I think it's been pretty positive overall, considering the time that we had to get trained for the teachers, and I think we're doing a really good job as far as that interaction.
And Terry and I wanted to echo the work of Ashlyn and Anita and our teaching staff and building administrators. They truly, have been just outstanding. I know for the first week I was talking to my administrators daily, and every time they praised the work of how hard everyone was working and getting things put together, reaching out to kids. Just going above and beyond. And I know Ashlyn and Anita and her department And with the help of some of the staff that were well-trained in Schoology, they did over 20 large group remote trainings just to help bring teachers up to speed. And again, we would agree that it's been going better than expected.
And this isn't going to be the end of the trainings. Of course, we're just scraping the surface of what Schoology does and what it offers. So we're definitely going to be offering more for teachers as we go. I know that the principals have been on board and offering that support also to the teachers. But once we have a topic that teachers want to know more about, Ashley's creating those videos or offering Zoom meetings to do the trainings. She's pretty much doing those on the spot.
Yeah, you could really see the comfort level rise and the stress level go down almost each day because of all the hard work of everyone working together. I think lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about just the meal service and how outstanding they've been doing with the staff here providing those meals. We just wanted to make sure that we're letting you guys know that that's been running well and doing anywhere between 10 and 12,000 meals a week.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
No, okay. Those numbers you gave of 95 and 92% technology participation, I assume that means or doesn't include kids that are not comfortable or parents aren't comfortable or picking up packets. Those are
Yes,
in addition.
We're documenting who is not interacting on Schoology, and then the teachers, that's the tier 1 support that the teachers are reaching out to who is not interacting on Schoology. So they're making that phone call to see why they're not. And if it's a technology issue or no internet, then we're providing technology for those families. And I think so far we've deployed 80 some laptops right now.
So that number, I still don't understand. Is that including, or is there still a percentage of kids who are picking up packets that are actually doing work, participating, but they're not in that technology percentage yet?
That percentage does include the
Oh, it
packet
does.
students.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes. So really the number is very small per building that we can't reach yet. So it could be like less than 6 at each building.
Okay. Well, I would like to say that I believe that coming in with the continuity of learning plan that we developed, both at secondary and elementary, and I know it was collaborative. I think that you both did an excellent job in making sure that all the voices were heard so that the greatest number of concerns were addressed before any of this was implemented. I felt very comfortable after our curriculum board meeting, committee meeting, that you had covered a whole lot of territory and were, if not areas that had been already addressed, were certainly in process of being addressed. So I think you did an excellent job of doing that. And I'm also involved with other districts with their plans, and I feel that you guys have, combined with the leadership, other leadership in the district, and with all of our teaching and paraprofessional support, that you are all doing an excellent job to really do the very best we can for kids during these difficult times. So I want to thank you. I think you really have done an excellent job, and I know it's involved a tremendous amount of time and collaboration and foresight and all of that. So I just, as from the board, I just want to thank you.
Anyone else from the board have something for?
I do.
Ms. Berkmeyer?
I know I also was on the curriculum meeting, was that last week or a week or two before? Anyway, you mentioned that parents were gonna get notification, like a progress report of where their kids were at. Did those go out
Yes,
already?
that was only for students that were not doing well before we left school.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, so parents, should be in the know of where their students are at this point, and what their participation might hinge on, and so, good. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that those had gone out like we had talked about, and so at this point, to all the parents out there, you should be aware, you should have received, something, knowing where your student is at, if they were of need. Right. Right, so if your student, if it was crucial for your student to participate, you should have received notification at this point. Okay, thanks.
Hello?
I was just saying that if there are teachers or if there are parents out there that have maybe not received that and they do have questions, of course, we would ask them to reach out to their building principal or teachers and, make sure that communication is going through.
We have another principal's meeting tomorrow.
All right, we'll go into
John, I had a comment. Hello? Shake your head if you can hear me. Anybody?
I can hear you.
Thank you. John's on mute, so I can't hear anything he's saying.
you got me on mute too.
I just wanted to thank everybody for getting the special ed services posted to Schoology. I saw links were added for speech and other services, including I now see Mandarin and music and gym, and all the specials are now on Schoology, and students are able to interact and continue to participate. So thank you for getting that up and going.
All right. Now we'll go to Anita. I'll mute myself.
The motion in your board packet is to approve the refresh of 320 workstations as mentioned at the secondary level. These are for our labs and our Project Lead the Way labs. This is part of the bond, was already planned. The bid went out in February, was opened publicly, and we are recommending Presidio.
All right. Unmute. Is there any questions from the board? Janine?
Not a question. I was going to support the motion.
Okay, seeing no, so I'll read the award recommendation. Anchor Bay School District requested bids to purchase 320 computer workstations for Anchor Bay High School, Middle School South, Middle School North. The new computers will replace PLTW workstations and upgrade computer labs. The recommendation is to award computer workstation purchase to Presidio in the amount of $223,680. Motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Bergmeyer, is there a second?
I'll support.
Seconded by Ms. Activity. Headershot, vote by roll. So just unmute yourself if you're a board member right now, so Lisa you can hear Lisa.
Ms. Akavetti Hendershot,
Yes.
Ms. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Berkmeyer, yes, Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Moses.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. The purchase of 2 special ed buses.
Thank you, Mr. Drew. So you may remember at our last meeting in February, our last face-to-face meeting at least, we brought forward to the board the recommendation to purchase 8 buses for our general fund, I shouldn't say general fund, for our general ed students. You approved those 8 buses. Today, we are bringing before you 2 additional buses that would be used for our special ed. What we're proposing is that we have a lease that is ending in June for these 2 buses. The renewal or to lease 2 new buses would be about $14,000 a year. We believe it's more cost effective for the district for us to go ahead and purchase the 2 buses rather than turn them back. That cost will be roughly $96,000. And we are asking the board to approve that. Excuse me. That purchase.
All right. Is there any discussion from the board?
Yeah, John, I got a question.
Mr. Moses?
At their last meeting, Mr. Middlestat had mentioned that should be coming out of the bond and not the general fund, and there was talk of moving it over from the bond to the general, or from the general fund to the bond for the other buses. Did that happen? So the original 8 buses are coming out of the bond fund and not the general fund?
Yeah, Mike, these buses, the 2 special ed buses are being purchased out of the bond issue. The previous buses that we did that you're talking about, those were leased. So we needed regular ed and special ed buses. So we were trying to, we're trying to figure out how we could do all those things going in the next year. So the buses that you're approving this evening are taken out of the bond. It's not out of your general fund. Does that answer it, Mike? Or?
Right, but I just had a question. Were the other ones moved? That helps, but the other buses, are they going to be moved to the bond like Mr. Middlestat was suggesting they should? Because the only reason why we approved
I
it
think in
was
the future
because they said that we could move it to
they could. We
the
haven't
bond
moved
fund later.
No, because we'll have
those buses are leased, Mike, and we could, down the road, like we're doing with these, purchase them through the bond. So not of yet, no. But these buses that you're buying today, we are buying them
out of the
bond issue.
Right. The other
Mike, you still have
easier to come out
you have
of
a
the general fund until we buy them.
bond. You have a 2017 bond that the board still needs once we complete the majority of work, which I believe we have, or I should say all of the work. There are additional funds, and that's when the board could address how to use those funds, whether we would pay for those buses that Mr. Middlestat had talked about, whether we would be purchasing computers, going forward. So to answer your question, Mike, it is in the plan. It is in the plan, but we have not done that yet because we have the other issues we need to address also along with it.
You good, Mike?
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else on the purchase of the buses? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the purchase of 2 47-passenger buses at a cost of roughly $140,000 to $168,000?
The Finance Committee, Mr. President, did discuss this at our last meeting. So I will make a motion to purchase those 2 special ed buses.
I'll support it with.
Mr. Green, is there a second?
I'll support it with a correction. You said 140 to 168,000, but according to this motion, that's if we continue to lease it. The motion is to buy it $96,607.
No, Yep. Good correction. I don't know how to read.
That's okay.
I need a good teacher. All
You
right.
need new
Uh,
glasses.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote by roll.
Okay, Ms. Akaveti Hendershot,
Yes.
Ms. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Burkmeyer, yes, Mr. Green,
Yes.
and Mr. Moses.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Got our second open forum. You want to come? Yeah, sorry. Ms. Cheryl Stankus.
If the district could clarify whether or not students are being graded or what for the stuff that they turn in, because I'm hearing from parents in elementary saying the kids are turning it in, some don't have to. Middle school, we're hearing mixed, and high school is waiting to hear what the district's motion is on it. So if you could just let parents know what is expected of the students, if they're going to be graded or if they're expected to turn things in, that would be very helpful. That was it.
Thank you.
I think Terry and Joe could address that if you wanted.
Yeah, I think that is a very big question that's out there. So let's have Terry and Joe come back up and just kind of address that. Thank you.
Yeah, as far as grading in regards to our continuity of learning plan, we are definitely working under the guidance of the governor, who made it pretty clear that we don't want anyone to be penalized in any way. However, she elected it for us to set those guidelines, and we're asking everyone to participate in the continuity of learning. We're reaching out to each family of students who are not currently participating to see how we can help to get them to participate. And the facts are, the numbers are really high in the participation of the work. So in terms of what the work moving forward is on a credit incomplete basis. So kids that are doing the work are receiving credit for that work. We're asking the teachers to record it as collected, missing, or incomplete. They're not giving letter grades on the work. And, as always, we're keeping mindful of any student or family who's being impacted through this pandemic and is not able to complete the work. We're working with those families and keeping the best interests of the families at the center of that decision. So letter grades are not being given. The work that's being done is being counted as completed or not completed, and feedback is general for learning purposes.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say other than that. At elementary level, it's also credit and incomplete. And we're asking that students complete one assignment per week. I think that's given by the teacher through Schoology.
Okay. Is there any questions from the board?
So we had just to help answer the question. So on March 13th, when we had the school, was it the 13th when we closed?
Mm-hmm.
So are the students' grades frozen right there?
In terms of if they were passing, yes.
Okay, so the student grades are frozen, and if you have a student that's not passing, they have an opportunity to improve on that
Yes.
fact that they're not passing.
Yes.
The teachers would be working with the students to help those students be successful, so you could move in the direction as the governor had asked, correct?
That's correct.
So the grades are frozen, right where they're at. Anybody that's failing For sure, teachers are reaching out to those students to give them the opportunity to get credit.
Correct.
Okay, and if you have a student that doesn't participate at all,
The teachers are reaching out to them to find out why.
okay, the teachers will reach out to the student, then they would reach out to the parents to make them aware that the student is not participating at all. Right?
Yep.
Okay. And as far as participation, whether it be, how are the teachers communicating back to the students in regards to their work? Students are getting assignments, you're posting them, every 2 weeks or every Monday? The students then have assignments to turn back in, and the teachers are communicating with those students how?
Well, at the elementary level, I know they're doing a lot of Zoom meetings, so it could be comprehension questions that they're asking as a class when they're charting it down on the form. Or it could be a page that they're filling out for math, and they could take a picture of it and then submit that through email. There's different forms of how they could reply back as according to what the teacher wants.
Okay.
But in general, they're recording the work as completed, missing, or incomplete, and that would be how they would see it in their PowerSchool as the assignment, like they would in any other time. And then as far as feedback, they're given individual feedback, and it could be very well if someone's doing a great job or right on, or if they're off a little bit, that teacher would let the student know where they made mistakes so that they could continue learning.
The continuity plan that was developed, because it's new for all of us and it's evolving for all of us. So if there's adjustments as you go forward, as you get input from parents and teachers, like we said when we developed the continuity, I think the one we have now is draft 3, 4, I'm not sure, and we know that we'll have future drafts. And you guys, as far as your colleagues and what are most of the districts doing? Are you guys in touch with them?
Yeah, we're in touch with them. We had a meeting this morning with the county every Wednesday morning, and we are right on line with the bulk of the county that are given out in credit or incomplete, and same type of expectations.
If you have a student, this being so new, we need to be careful not to overwhelm students. So are we, maybe planning a survey to parents down the road, or what are we doing as of now to, those families, because there could be things going on in their home. So if someone's being overwhelmed, what are you asking them to do? Contact the teacher, contact the principal? What are you asking them to do?
Hopefully they're reaching out to the teacher and finding out maybe why they're not responding, and then they can have that dialogue. This is too much for us at this time. And we have heard from some parents saying that, they're going through divorce, or they're going through some things, and we're sympathetic to that. So.
Well, and part of the plan is a tiered system to where the teachers record whether or not the work's being completed, and then they would notify the second tier, the a counselor or a social worker, to reach out to check on that student and to see what circumstances surround it, so that if we can help, we would. And we also know that during this pandemic, there are constraints that are outside of our control and that we can't help with. So then that's where we'll work with that family to do whatever we need to do to not add stress to that's already being added
we have
situation.
And for school, what do we have? 7 weeks? Is it 8 weeks?
7 more.
Somewhere around 7. So
7.5 left.
I think, that we should probably do a reach out on some sort of survey to parents and even the teaching staff to see how things are going, because we're coming up on the halfway point pretty quick, of the plan. And
Yes.
it being so new, you're going to make adjustments.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think the hard part, at least the questions I'm getting, and I don't know if you guys are getting it too, on the grading is, and I get it, it's hard on you guys. It's hard to say, well, it really doesn't matter when it does. I mean, it's education, and they're going to, especially the non-seniors, have to come back next year. Is that according to the executive order, it says they cannot be negatively impacted. So even if they were passed in prior and didn't do anything, not that we want to put that out there, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do. Correct?
Yeah, well, the families will be contacted.
The
If you have a-
families,
if you
that's
have-
where
yeah,
that
if you have
comes
a
in.
student that's not
Yes.
participating, obviously,
Correct.
we are still moving forward,
Yes.
preparing kids for, if you're a senior, we're still preparing them for college or work, military, whatever their vocation
Yes.
choice is, we're still preparing them. So if someone's not participating, yes, we will contact the family, contact the student and contact the family.
Correct. I think I get that, and that's what we do, and we're in education, or you guys are, in education is what we do, but I think that's the biggest, we're trying to make it still look like school, and we're still doing everything we can to teach them and to have it be school-like, but how do you do grades when some people can't get on the internet and all those issues that are out there, and you guys are doing a heck of a job with what you're doing, and I thank every one of you for all you're doing, so.
Yeah, we did reach out to, before we started the continuity, but we continue to reach out to any of those families that, may not have internet access or may not, have, computer. So we are reaching out, to those families as we go forward. And I believe, like Terry and Joe said, you get 90+ participation, from your students.
Mhm. Yeah, and we've most definitely been preaching a compassion over compliance mantra. I think that's been common throughout the county with just.
On the technology piece, do we feel that we've reached out to all the families? Have we, reached out to them as far as, any student that doesn't? Understand those that would like it paper delivered. We can continue to do that ourselves.
I think we'll continue to hear from some people that will need it, so.
Well, and people's situation may change as we go through this,
Okay.
for better or worse.
Yeah.
Important to note, like we had discussed, that, if your child was in danger of receiving no credit, you should have received, and I think you have received,
information on that.
if you have a secondary student.
So at this point, you should be aware that your child's
child's
credit hinges
hinges
upon
upon
some
some-
improving that. And I think that's
Just what is
is
important for people.
I know like John said, I have fielded some questions on this as well. And, Mr. Giroux mentioned it. I mean, this is education, and unfortunately, right now, this is the situation that we're in. Everybody's working very hard to keep our kids
engaged.
And I definitely would not want that to be interpreted like people are good, don't participate. We definitely need to keep our kids on track. We need to keep people focused so that when we
Can return to the classroom.
we're not looking at education slides or
disparities between groups.
I mean, that's a real thing we're gonna have to look at going forward too.
So, sounds like we're doing
an excellent job with 95, 92% engagement. I know other districts are seeing
numbers significantly lower than that.
So, parents, teachers, everybody's doing a fantastic job, and just keep it up.
Any other board members have anything on that? All right. Go to the consent agenda. So motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Agnew Hendershot. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. DeWitt. Vote by roll.
Ms. Akavetti Hendershot,
Yes.
Ms. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Giroux,
Yes.
Meyer, yes, Mr. Green,
Yes.
and Mr. Moses.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Superintendent.
Yeah, I think I'll be quick. I just want to share. I know that, all of us probably have family members that are first responders, work in healthcare. Those people are working 12, 14 plus hours a day. I have relatives and family members in those fields, and I know as a district and as a community, we greatly appreciate their dedication, their hard work, and everything they've done. And you just, and especially those working in hospitals, working, double shifts and trying to, help our state get through this. I think all of us agree that we can't do enough to, appreciate the work they've done and thank them.
All right.
Hello?
I can't hear.
No, I can't hear either.
Can I mute myself? Right. Can you hear me, Ms. DeWitt?
Yeah, now I can.
All right, you're up.
For what? Just comments?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I just again would like to thank everyone. I can't even imagine, or when this whole thing started, how we were going to meet the governor's mandates. Keep schools open, move kids forward, but don't be punitive, engage kids, move forward, and all without having any contact in a classroom. And I just think that Anchor Bay needs to be extremely proud of every one of the employees. And I mean from our superintendent to our directors, to all of our teachers, paraprofessionals, special ed services from social workers, counselors, speech therapists, to our office people who are coming in and paraprofessionals coming in to do lunches, and bus drivers driving buses, and all of our staff sanitizing buildings. I just think that it is amazing to me that it is almost like within the realm of a horribly challenging situation, everyone has risen to really, in their own right, could be termed heroes. So I just want to thank each and every one of them. I know that every effort is being made to accommodate parents who are challenged at home with multiple families or multiple children, and yet they're still working from home. Teachers that have children they're supposed to teach at home, their own kids, and yet are trying to meet the educational needs of others. We have parents at home who are babysitting and working 8 hours from home. I mean, the challenges have just been overwhelming. And in the back of that, you have a very real health threat to this entire nation, and also an economic threat that's really threatened every one of us. So I'm just very, very proud of Anchor Bay Schools, for the entire district, all of the almost over 800 staff. I think that they've done a tremendous job. I want to thank them on behalf of our kids and our parents. Just keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, Marie. Mike?
Yeah, I'd just like to throw out a special thanks to a couple guys I've been working with, Mr. Battle and Mr. McDonald. We've been working through trying to get us a football coach. Things have been moving along pretty good. So just wanted to say thanks. I know they got a lot on their plate to put that on there too. That's got to be just another thing. I'd also like to thank, like everybody else has, the teachers, the administration, the staff. You guys have been really stepped up and done a great job. Put this together as quick as you did. I would like to see something going forward. Maybe we could get a policy. I'm assuming school's going to change after this. I'm thinking we're probably going to see more of a hybrid type system anyway once everybody gets back even. So maybe we could start looking at putting something like that together to keep the platform open. That way, who knows, maybe there won't be no more snow days. We'll have an online platform we can do. Right. But other than that, you guys keep up the great work. And especially, I know you teachers that have kids at home that you're teaching also. I couldn't imagine how you're teaching hundreds of other kids, and then you got your own kids running around. It sounds like an impossible task. It would be at my house. Thanks, and I appreciate it.
Mike, I just got to say, with what you do for a living, it said up there you have low bandwidth. How does that happen? All right.
That's all you got out of that, John?
That's it. Sorry.
That's all you got.
I got a lot more than that. I apologize. All right, Mr. Green.
You want to go back to Janine and see if she's.
Oh, Janine, can you hear me now?
Yeah. There was some technical issues earlier.
Okay.
The only thing is, Mike kind of touched upon it. I had a really good conversation with a middle school North teacher yesterday. And we both agreed that all this hard work that's been put into Schoology, that we think that it needs to be embedded in the classroom environment long term. Rather, it's maybe an assignment a week, so that, when you do have situations that arise, that you don't have to go backwards and retrain new staff, refresh, the memories of current staff, and that in today's environment, like Mike said, a snow day may not be a loss of a school day if you can convert and send an assignment out for a kid to do. And it may, lessen other issues down the road, but I don't want to see us stop using this and go back to a traditional day. I think we need to reevaluate what the word traditional might mean going forward.
All right, thank you. Mr. Green?
Thanks, John. I don't have a whole lot more to add to what everyone else has already said. I think our teachers are amazing. I don't think they get enough credit. I'm glad that my son's a junior in high school, and I don't have to work on algebra with him, or it wouldn't work out well for me. It would definitely be one of those cases where the teacher got fired for drinking on the job. But anyway, it's been said, the first responders mentioned by the superintendent and Donald, Ms. Petron's comments, like our teachers are amazing. Our support staff is amazing. We're feeding thousands of people, thousands of students that are on free or reduced lunch weekly, and that's amazing. It's a necessary task that we do. So I can't emphasize enough how much I really appreciate the employees that have stepped up. They're coming into work and they're helping out, even though they may be working out of their quote unquote job class. Certainly not all of us are good sandwich makers, but a lot of people are doing it now. So that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Pat. Ms. Birkmeyer?
I just want to thank everybody in the district. I mean, we could go on all night. Everybody deserves a pat on the back. Our teachers who are adapting to new environments and teaching situations and trying to hold down their own forts. But also, all the families need to pat themselves on the back too. I mean, 95, 92% engagement is something that families and parents should be proud of too. That even though, I mean, as a parent myself at home with 2 elementary schoolers all day, you don't always feel like you're holding it together, but you are, because we're seeing the engagement, we see the numbers. So something's getting done. Take it easy on yourselves. Everybody's working very hard. We want to make sure our students stay engaged and stay on track. So when we can return to the classroom, we try to minimize any hiccups. that we're gonna have to face. I also know that we have, some teachers, we even had a situation, we have teachers in a district our size that have been on maternity leaves. And some of them, have come back teaching despite having newborns at home. And as a mom, I know the sacrifices that you are enduring at this point, trying to work with a newborn. I don't even know if you're sleeping. You 100% would have the right to focus on your family at this point, just having a baby, but these people have returned for our students and our kids. So that sacrifice and dedication is not lost to me as a mom. So I just want to thank everybody. We have administration, people still running the buildings. We have staff coming in for lunches. Everything is flowing and moving, and I think it's something we all should be proud of.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll echo everybody. I mean, just quickly, I mean, everybody, this district is stepping up to the plate. You learn a lot about a district, all the stuff that was happening prior to this, and you find out a lot about the leadership, about the core of people during hard times like this, and obviously no one could have planned for this, knew this was going to happen, and all you guys from, like you said, administration down to every group in this district is really hitting it out of the park. I want to thank them all. Like you said, the bus drivers, the food service, all the stuff we're doing is just second to none. The teachers, learning this Schoology and stepping up doing that, you wouldn't know it that they're stressing by, I got 3 kids in the district and all, the teachers that they have. I got 1 in high school, middle, and elementary, and their teachers are really hiding it well if they were stressing. So kudos to them. To the leadership of the ABA, I've been on conference calls with the superintendent and the ABA president. And I'm just going to say, I mean, they're getting along, they're doing what it takes, and they're working together. It's great to see this entire district doing that. To the board members, I mean, adapting, the curriculum committee met, the finance committee met, the technology committee obviously is going to have to meet, and there's some challenges there that we're going to have to do, to Mike's point, to step up to be ready for this in the future. I keep hearing that no more snow days, no more of this, no more of that, but there's challenges we have there, and I'm sure we'll hit them. What else was I going to say? Oh, and then just to the parents out there, I, was thinking we were pretty well set up for public comment here with the safety, with the mask, with all that. And I did hear some stuff coming in here tonight about, being able to do remote participation. I reached out to some other school boards by text when I was here, and some city councils, and the Chesterfield board. I know that they did some kind of a virtual meeting. And I think after this, if we have to do more of these, we'll sit down and talk with Anita. And thanks for all, Anita and Tim too. You guys are, I'm sure, nonstop in Ashland. So we'll talk about how we can better set this up to where the public can, Ms. Stankus, thanks for coming in tonight, but to where we don't have to make you come down here to participate. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn? You guys all want to stay here?
I'll make the motion.
Janine made the
motion. Motion by, I didn't have this thing. Motion by Mr. Second.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Green. Go ahead.
Ms. Akavetti Hendershot,
Yes.
Ms. DeWitt,
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Burkmeyer, yes, Mr. Green,
Yes.
and Mr. Moses.
Yes.
Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.